So Sheryl Swoopes is at it again. And by at it again, I mean she's running her mouth. This time she's coming after Sophie Cunningham. We all know Sophie Cunningham sent a pretty loud message. By the way, a message that wouldn't have been needed had the WNBA referees done their job during that Connecticut Sun-Indiana Fever game, instead of just being like, nah, nothing to see here. We'll just let everybody that assaulted Caitlin Clark just stay in this game.
What happens when a WNBA legend finally gets fed up with all the cheap fouls and fake tough girl antics? Sheryl Swoopes just torched Sophie Cunningham, blasting her for acting like a bodyguard instead of a baller. And of course, Caitlin Clark's name got pulled right into the crossfire, because apparently, she's everyone's favorite chaos magnet. If you thought the drama died down, think again. This clash is hotter than a microwave burrito, spicy, messy, and way too personal.
My favorite person in the WNBA. It's been a minute, but you know, I mean, there's been so many things going on of late that, you know, not talking about her. God, I almost feel bad that I've neglected her. Like my neglecting. I'm sorry. Sheryl Swoopes, I am so sorry for having neglected you. Not really. I should have been talking about you more in the dumb shit that you do, the dumb shit that you say, but I haven't. I try to let that stuff slide off, because it gets a little redundant when you constantly have to remind people about what a fucking idiot this woman is. But,
It finally happened. The moment every WNBA drama addict has been waiting for. Not a shocking trade, not an all-out bench brawl, but something way more theatrical. Sheryl Swoopes, yes, that Sheryl Swoopes, just jumped headfirst into the sports meets reality TV universe by torching Sophie Cunningham. And what was Sophie's crime? Playing physical, leaning into her role, and backing up Caitlin Clark. Apparently, that's enough to spark outrage. Oh, the scandal.
Sheryl Swoopes, back in the news, getting pushback from fans, calling out Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, calling out Stephanie White. Oh, I don't know about coaching decisions, blah, 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 blah. Sheryl Swoopes, what do you have to say for yourself?
Apparently, we've hit the stage of the WNBA where defending a teammate counts as a felony. At least if that teammate happens to be Caitlin Clark, the human headline factory who can drain threes in her sleep and still get hacked for daring to inhale. Enter Sophie Cunningham, whose crime of the week was simply showing up with some fire and refusing to play nice.
By and large, that hadn't happened until the other night when Sophie Cunningham gave J.C. Sheldon the Steven Seagal Aikido move at the end of the game. And everybody lost their minds. Now, keep in mind, this is Sheryl Swoopes hating ass, lovingly hugging Angel Reese. And the reason I'm showing this is because Angel Reese gave Caitlin Clark the clothesline from hell last year. Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter's slam in to Caitlin Clark. All right? Angel Reese racially shaded Caitlin Clark earlier in the year in a social media post, talking about she was too scared to fight.
According to Swoopes, that's crossing the line, too rough, too aggressive, and apparently way too loyal. Because heaven forbid anyone actually stand up for the most hacked player in the league without catching heat from the self-appointed hall monitor of morality.
That's neither here nor there. Let's talk about what's going on right now with Sheryl Swoopes, or what's not going on with Sheryl Swoopes. Does she even have a job now? Like, does she even have a job? Did all of her disdain and public scrutiny and public hate for Caitlin Clark get her fired from everything? Hey, man, you said it with your chest, and now you got to eat the consequences of your words, because your words are not for the benefit of the WNBA.
Let's be real, this was bound to happen. The second Sophie planted her feet like a velvet rope bouncer guarding a VIP lounge for three-point snipers, the purists started clutching pearls. And Swoopes? She went full broadcast vigilante. Forget measured analysis. This was a roast session dressed up as commentary, dragging Sophie like she just hacked the league's image instead of, setting a few hard screens. Here's the kicker. Sophie didn't clothesline anyone into the third row. She played gritty, not dirty. She boxed out like rent was due, set screens with purpose, and dared to shield Caitlin Clark from yet another cheap shot. But apparently, that was enough to trigger the WNBA's self-appointed opinion police. Now physical play is suddenly a crime, at least if it comes packaged with a ponytail and an Indiana jersey. Cue the pearl clutching, the faux peace sermons, and the legacy lectures from the courtside council of former stars.
Just go tomorrow. You're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so, at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so.
Suddenly, loyalty is a liability. Grit is a villain arc. And Sophie Cunningham has been cast as public enemy number one in a league that supposedly celebrates toughness, just not when it comes with a smirk and unapologetic defense. Enter Sheryl Swoopes, a WNBA icon with a resume longer than a CVS receipt, rings, medals, history books with her name etched in bold. But instead of letting that legacy do the talking, she grabbed the whistle and played middle school principal, scolding Sophie for behavior that wouldn't raise an eyebrow in any other sport. This wasn't just commentary, it was a full-on smear campaign, as if Sophie had personally disrespected Swoopes' crossover. And the internet? Oh, it ate it up. Suddenly, clips of Sophie setting routine hard screens were circulating like evidence of a crime. Comment sections morphed into courtrooms, with fans poring over game tape like it was the Zapruder film. And Sheryl? She trended, not for her legendary accolades, but for a verbal slam dunk that felt more like a pickup game played in flip-flops.
You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical, and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right? Out of fierce competition. So, I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen.
And then what did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
You think it's like defending Caitlin or defending the team, or how do you view just how it all?
I view it.
What makes this whole saga downright delicious is the pettiness dripping from it. This wasn't sharp analysis or some nuanced breakdown, it was pure hold my mic energy. Less post-game commentary, more Comedy Central roast that somehow hijacked ESPN airtime. Sophie, for her part, just kept being Sophie, aggressively average, but in the most confrontational, unapologetic way possible. And Caitlin Clark? She looked like someone who accidentally wandered onto the set of a Real Housewives reunion, wondering when the wine glasses were about to start flying. The outrage was so overblown, you'd think Sophie pulled out a steel chair and went full WWE. Spoiler, she didn't. But that didn't stop Sheryl. She zeroed in on Sophie's ponytail and fire energy and declared her the villain. Meanwhile, not a peep about the elbows Caitlin has eaten all season like she's stuck in a dodgeball game with bricks. No lectures about the hip checks, the body slams, or the sneaky MMA moves opponents unleash on Clark every time she dares to touch the ball. Nope, just Sophie in the crosshairs, because apparently that's the crime worth trending.